BRICS is on a path to take down Western domination, and so many countries, especially those in the global south, are on board. In fact, about 45 countries have expressed interest in joining the bloc. And now, Burkina Faso, under the leadership of President Traore, has joined this list of countries that have expressed interest to join the BRICS bloc. But why does Burkina Faso want to join BRICS? And if it eventually joins, what would it gain? Let's find out. Burkina Faso plan to join BRICS didn't start recently. Actually, it can be traced back to June 2023, when the Burkinabe government signed a memorandum of understanding with the BRICS bloc for cooperation. The MOU signed defined several areas of cooperation, including economy, health, education, infrastructure, air and rail transport, industry, commerce, mines, energy, sport, culture, information and communication technologies, and tourism. After the document was signed, the foreign minister at the time, Olivia Roumba, expressed confidence that the partnership between Burkina Faso and BRICS would be implemented based on mutual benefit and respect. Now, for BRICS and Burkina Faso to have signed an agreement for cooperation, it means that Burkina Faso already had strong interest in joining the BRICS bloc. So, it wasn't really a surprise when the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, Apollinaire Joachim Kyelem de Tambela, revealed that Burkina Faso is interested in joining the BRICS bloc. Prime Minister Joachim made this known during a discussion with the Russian ambassador to Burkina Faso, Igor Martinov. Speaking to Ambassador Igor, the Prime Minister stated that joining BRICS would allow Burkina Faso to counter the domination of the dollar and the euro so that it can achieve a more equitable international trade. He also noted that Burkina Faso shares the same political vision as Russia and highlighted the fact that both countries have several strategic partnerships in different areas, including diplomacy, military, and the economy. Ambassador Igor, on his part, discussed proposals for Russia to develop a nuclear power plant in Burkina Faso. Recall that during the Russia-Africa summit held last year, Burkina Faso urged Russia to help it build a nuclear power plant, and a few months later, both countries signed a memorandum for Russia to build a nuclear power plant. Aside from these, the two leaders also discussed preparations for the Burkina Faso Economic Days Abroad, which is set to be held in Russia next month. Overall, the meeting between the two leaders was a success, at least as confirmed by Ambassador Igor, who said, "The meeting was very fruitful and successful. We are in tune regarding our approaches to bilateral cooperation. We also dwelled on intensifying our cooperation in all areas." Burkina Faso's advocacy to join BRICS should not come as a surprise because it aligns with Burkina Faso's desire to diversify its international partnerships and strengthen its economic position. In addition, Burkina Faso's plan to join BRICS is also in line with the desires of the AES Confederation. Now, if you have been following the growth of the BRICS alliance from when it started in 2009 till now, you would observe that one of the reasons why it was established is to cripple the power the West has over other countries in terms of sanctions. You see, according to numerous research and reports, the West has used sanctions as a weapon over and over again against countries that stand against its ideals, principles, and interests. Russia, Iran, China, and even several African countries, including Zimbabwe and Uganda, have been subjected to Western sanctions for one reason or the other. However, instead of making these countries cower and bend to their interests, it has made them resentful and has built a strong conviction to change the order of things. Specifically, aside from the fact that the system of the global order is biased and favors the West, the fact that the West has attempted to intervene and influence the politics of sovereign countries is a major reason why countries began to fight to change things. For instance, it is widely known that over the years, the West has pushed its political ideologies and interests to other countries through the use of international institutions such as the World Bank. When an African country wishes to borrow money from the World Bank as part of the condition, that country may be required to support a policy that serves an interest to the West. If that country refuses, the loan may not be granted. Now, this is just one example of how the West has manipulated and persuaded countries to serve its interests, but there are many others. And all these excesses is what led to the establishment of BRICS. Established by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, the BRICS alliance is set to create a multipolar world that is free from the dominance of the West. This organization has grown from an unimportant bloc to one that is actively changing things, so much so that the West is wary. And they should be, because the greatest enemy and the greatest rival of the West, Russia and China, are both members of the group. All member countries of BRICS, including the 5 recently added, share a common goal, and that is to see the end of the Western-dominated system. The goal and purpose of the bloc have attracted so many countries, including African countries, and they have expressed their interest to join the BRICS alliance. With this background, you can understand why members of the AES Confederation, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger would want to join BRICS. Ordinarily, aligning with BRICS would have been impossible for Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, because these nations were former French colonies, and France would never have allowed it. However, given the fact that the leaders in these countries are not puppets of France, but are in fact anti-imperialist leaders, aligning with BRICS has become possible. Since they expelled French troops and ended diplomatic relations with France, they have been free to make decisions that benefit their countries, without any external obstacles. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister of Niger, Ali Mohamed Zein, welcomed delegates from the BRICS group in Niamey, Niger. For delegates of BRICS to visit Niger, it meant that BRICS recognized Niger as a country that can be valuable to the bloc. Niger, like every other country in Africa, is home to abundant mineral resources which are valuable to the world. As you know, Niger is the world's 7th largest producer of uranium, a key element in nuclear power production. In a world that is moving away from fossil fuels, uranium for the production of clean energy is increasingly becoming important. So it's understandable why Niger is valuable to BRICS. Discussions between the delegates and Niger's prime minister revolved around the consolidation of economics and trade ties between Niger and the BRICS member state. Specifically, the focus was on potential collaborations in mining, agriculture, energy, and the transport sector. The collaboration between Niger and BRICS is based on mutual benefits. Niger is keen on advancing in these areas of its economy, and BRICS is well positioned to play a major role in developing Niger's infrastructure. Mali and Burkina Faso are also valuable additions to the BRICS alliance. Both countries are among the biggest producers of gold in Africa, and given that gold is increasingly becoming an important store of value, both countries are great additions to the bloc. Now, as you know, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso recently established the Confederation of the Alliance of the Sahel, which means that as Niger has expressed interest in the bloc, Burkina Faso and Mali will also be a part of it as well. Let's not also forget that the 3 countries also have strong ties with Russia, a founding member of BRICS. Since these military leaders became leaders in their countries, they have directed their countries to shift away from France and the West and move closer to Russia in terms of military and trade relations. The presence of Russia in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger is substantial and extensive. In Niger, Russia has provided military and economic assistance, as well as the deployment of Wagner forces, so much so that the US forces have been forced to leave the country. Similar assistance has also been provided in Burkina Faso and Mali. So, given that Russia is a founding member of BRICS, there is no doubt that it will push for Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to join the bloc. If you think about it, it actually makes sense that Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso would join the BRICS alliance. The 3 countries and BRICS both have and share the same principles and ideas. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are all sovereign states that wish to live and thrive without the influence of foreign forces. This notion aligns with that of BRICS, which is to create a multipolar world where Western influence has been eradicated. It's no wonder, then, that in recognition of similar ideals, the BRICS bloc established a BRICS Alliance office in Burkina Faso, after awarding President Traore with a BRICS medal. According to Traore, the award was granted to him by the President of the International Alliance of BRICS Strategic Projects for his determination and courage in the interest of the West African country's sovereignty. Both leaders also discussed cooperation between BRICS and Burkina Faso. So, what does BRICS have to offer Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, as well as other African countries? Well, the use of the dollar by African countries for trade has severely affected their ability to cope with internal challenges because they do not have control over their own monetary policy. This reliance on the dollar is the reason why the majority of local currencies in Africa, including Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, are weak and performing poorly, leading to the high cost of living that is now rampant in the African economy. It also makes the African market dominated by commodity products, vulnerable to global economic shocks, leading to inefficient trade. However, BRICS has been advocating for a reduction in the use of the dollar for bilateral trade, replacing it with the use of local currencies. So, if all African countries jump on this trend, it will no doubt strengthen their economies and local currencies. In addition, it will help to reduce the effect of sanctions imposed by the West. Western sanctions are effective because the majority of the countries in the world, including Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, store the majority of their assets in the dollar as a result of the petrodollar system, which mandates all countries to purchase oil in the dollar. However, with the calls for de-dollarization already underway, more countries are joining the calls, and if they succeed, the ability of the West to sanction countries that have different ideologies from it will be greatly reduced. Not only is BRICS pushing for de-dollarization, but it also intends to create a new currency which might be launched during the 16th BRICS summit. This notion of creating a new currency resonates with the AES Confederation, which also intends to create a new currency and drop the CFA franc. Already the West has started to feel the effects of the plans made by BRICS, but the fact is that there is no stopping BRICS. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.